new in the marketplace? What's the catalyst that's driving the recognition for the need for this? It seems like it's an established, certainly established companies with an established cane that's been around for a long time, and not quite clear what the catalyst is.
So it's a very interesting, it's a great question. If you think about the dynamic that exists in the marketplace today, here's what's happening. You've got more displaced employees than ever. You've got fewer jobs than ever. In each of these organizations that hire people, you've got fewer resources than ever. So this world has collided and says, how do I process more applicants with fewer resources and fewer opportunities, is really one of the significant driving factors behind the need to automate some of these things, these processes.
I know it's tough out there, but I mean, you're sort of losing that opportunity to market the company to the individual as a result of having this automated version of the individual. You know, so are you really getting the best candidates given that you're not able to market?
It's another very fair question. Based on some customer feedback, for example, they have told us they'd like to create a better candidate experience. They'd like to create a more personalized experience. So it would be nice, for example, if I was a hiring company and say, hi, this is Joe with top-class call center organization. We're so excited to have you as a candidate. So in the next release of our software, we're going to allow this greeting that says, I'm the CEO of the company. This is great new technology. It allows us to find the best candidates. We're excited to have you use that. It's a feature enhancement, to your point, that was built based on customer feedback. How do I create a better user experience?
So you talk about annual savings on here.
Yes,
you talk about annual savings in one of your earlier slides, and I'd like to expand a little bit on that in terms of, is that less people in the staff organization or the internal in-house recruiting? Your voiceover that you did with the CEO, they talked about efficiency and effectiveness, and you didn't say anything about savings of dollars. So is it less people? Are the people you're selling to getting fired as a result?
The honest answer is it's both. So let me use this large call center opportunity that we're pursuing. Our corporate sponsor will tell us it's two things. One, we will cut some resources. We've got 150 recruiters across the globe that process all of these 300,000 interviews that we're processing. We need to cut some resources. So there is some of that. However, they're also going to take the existing resources that are left, let's call it 120 hypothetically, and they're going to process more interviews. So instead of interviewing 300,000 candidates, what they desire to do is interview 500,000 candidates, thereby increasing their labor pool and hopefully finding those true A-caliber people that helps to lower that attrition number. Does that come to
So where's the savings? Where's the dollar savings?
First, they save money in those, let's call it 30, let's say they cut 20% of their organization, all of that cost drops immediately to the bottom line. It's not going to be a dollar for dollar equation. If they cut $1 million labor savings, we'd like our solution to be $1 million, but it's going to be something less than $1 million. So the difference between the labor cost savings and the investment in our technology drops to the bottom line. In addition to soft savings, quite frankly, is if they lower their attrition, if they're somehow able to lower their attrition by hiring better candidates, say to even 100% versus 140%, the cost per hire is $6,000 per agent. If they have to hire 10,000 less agents annually, do the math. It's whatever $600,000 will say it is.
So that's a good segue to the next question. If you guys don't mind, I'll just do a follow-up. So that obviously another solution to the problem is to decrease attrition, and there are a number of HR software packages out there, SaaS companies like Taleo and SuccessFactors that are saying, yes, we have onboarding, we'll help you with the onboarding, and yes, we will help with the entire life cycle of the employee through learning systems and succession planning and all that to decrease that. How does this compete against a larger suite that can help you with all different aspects of the management employee?
Yeah, today, another great question. Today, it doesn't compete, it complements. Here's what we mean. Today, we run right alongside Taleo, Bullhorn, iSIMS, all of those large applicant tracking systems. As a matter of fact, they further enable our success. What the applicant tracking system like Taleo allows the user to do is aggregate the candidate pool by qualification. So these are all of my really good entry-level sales candidates. I can now create these bulk emails that can be sent to, for example, 75 people on that list, inviting them in to complete this phone interview. So while Taleo does all of those other things, it does not automate and capture audio files and voice record interviews. Ours does. We think that those applicant tracking systems could represent an exit strategy for us. Stephen?
Just talk about your pricing model a little. It's a SaaS function that you're putting out there. Are you getting any pushback on people saying, gee, I'd rather pay per click or pay per recording or pay per job I'm listing rather than pay per recruiter?
Yes.
What are your plans?
No. We've candidly played around a lot with our pricing model. Where we are today is it's a usage-based pricing model, and the more you use, the less you pay per interview. The interview, we price based on a kind of per usage pricing, but we're trying to create we're trying to replicate the cell phone plans, create an all-you-can-eat. So for $4.99 per month, based on my current anticipated usage levels, it's an all-you-can-eat model. It means if we send them a bill at the end of the month for $500, and they can use as much as they desire. That's where we are today with respect to pricing.
And can I follow up on that one? Just from the perspective of your cost of customer acquisition, and then how it's going to compare back to your revenue per customer annual. Just trying to get a sense for how long it's going to take you to break even on a customer.
Yeah, I will tell you very honestly, Tom, we don't know. It's just too early. Yes, we've got 6 customers. We've got some of the members of the management team here, Mark Hopkins, who runs around. That's a number he hits me up with every single week. What's our current cost of acquisition? And we just don't know. It's too early. You swing one of these big deals, obviously it swings it dramatically the other way. So we honestly don't know.
Got it.
You talked about your sales strategy and the companies that you're complementary to. Is there sales channel partner opportunities with them?
Yeah, another good question. Again, honestly, we kind of treaded very cautiously at first. Like if we go talk to Toledo and Bullhorn, they might steal our idea. We've kind of gotten over that. Where we are right now is we're starting to, so for example, Bullhorn, we're talking to them as a large applicant tracking system about integrating with that, integrating the channel distribution channel for us. I've got a lot of channel experience. That's what I did at CA. So I understand the importance of that. The coaching that we received, right or wrong, is if you chase the wrong channels too early, it exhausts you and distracts you. So stick with your core knitting right now, which is you got a telesales model that works. You can reach lots and lots of potential customers. Keep an eye on the channels, but now might be a bit too early.
Make sure I heard you correctly on a few things. I'm asking you a quick question, which is that you said that your first 6 customers are the call center and staffing organizations,
Correct.
but that 50% of the market is in that really mid-market, which you reach by telesales. My worry is that you'll get traction with really big call centers and staffing centers that have trouble approaching that big market. But it sounded like you said that you had some evidence of some traction there. How are you doing in that big market? Do you have any sort of pipeline? Do you have people coming on board soon?
Yes. It's a push-pull struggle that we deal with constantly. We've got these big opportunities that are out there that could just change the landscape for us. But don't bite off too much too early so that you can't operationalize it effectively. So candidly, all of those big opportunities, those 4, I'm personally managing along with Jay. It's a very much a founder-based direct sales model. All of the other mid-market stuff is we've hired 2 telesales people. Best decisions we've made. These two ladies, they're tremendous. They're making 120 calls a week or more. They're getting lots of appointments. We're doing web demos and things. So they're very focused on that. And from a selling perspective, we help support those efforts, and then we also drive the big transactions. Does that answer the question today? No. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Question.
Is this working?
Yeah. Does that? Yes.
Okay. You mentioned monitoring some of these job boards. Are they a possible customer for you?
They are. I mean, we like to think they are. Again, it's similar to the debate we have over the applicant tracking systems. So we go knock on career builder's door right now and say, hey, some of your customers are embedding a link into your application. Wouldn't it be cool if you used us as a kind of complementary technology in your suite of products to help with that interviewing process? We haven't gone there yet. I mean, we've lost some opinions about that, but we understand that that's not going to be for us. Sure, there's people that we know here locally. There's Career Builder, I guess, is very much a land-based company that have got some networking connections in there to help us. So we're going to try to do some friendly connections into those companies to see what their receptivity is to kind of working with us.
One other question.
One other question that I ask everybody, and I know you guys are just starting out, but you guys have any revenue in yet? I know you got the 2010, but
We do.
so people are paying.
We do. Each of those 6 customers that you see have been invoiced. I know the 6 have paid. We read the 6 customer yesterday trying to get that check. 7 is working through the contract negotiation stage, but yes.
Okay.
The call center market trend lines have been moving a lot of this offshore, particularly in India. Any sense for whether your telemarketing sales approach is going to really work over in India, and if not, how you can approach that market?
You mean in terms of us trying to sell to India?
Right.
I'm going to try to answer the question this way. For example, the meeting we had last Thursday was with a company that has locations in India as well as Central America. So we're dealing with domestic decision makers. They are using our tool, they're talking about using our tool to do effectively what becomes a language test. So the way they want to use our tool is they require their agents to speak English very fluently. They're going to send these candidates a question in English, require them to respond in English, aggregate all of that in your dashboard, and they see this as a tremendous opportunity to reduce costs. We've been asked about will we go turn this thing international? We might. We probably need to. Right now we think we're probably better off focusing domestically and taking advantage of the opportunities that exist here. But we've had early investors or people that are interested in this investors said that's where this thing really takes off. So we may end up there, but right now we're pretty focused domestically. I don't know if that answers. We don't have a question, but sorry.
It does, but it was really more of a distribution model question, which is to address the entire call center market, you're going to have to sell offshore. And so I don't think telemarketing from the U.S. to India is going to get the job done. So.
Yeah, although, I'm sorry if I understand the question, forgive me. Most of the decision making for those companies, this big top 5 that we're talking to, the buy decision, even though they've got locations in India, the buy decision happens here. So we don't necessarily have to telemarket to India. We telemarket domestically because that's where they make the decisions, even though they've got locations in India.
Got it, thanks.
Curious as to outside the call center, where obviously their service is the voice and sense, why voice is preferable as a medium for data input as opposed to just having applicants who are going to do a IT job or a marketing job for a staffing company directly input data in text?
It's an interesting question. So the first thing I will tell you is just by the nature of call centers place that high emphasis on voice quality. It's just one of the things they look for. They come from putting those candidates or those.
I'm talking about outside of the call center.
Yeah. So the very next release of our product, again, based on customer feedback, is it'd be really cool, Toomah, if I had a text-based knockout layer to this process so that I could ask 3 to 5 text-based questions about technical aptitude or have you ever been convicted of a felony, et cetera, et cetera. And based on how they answer that, it'd be really cool, Toomah, if you could lock them out and not allow them to complete the interview process. That release is going to be out within the next, right, Rob? Couple of weeks. So that, put you on the spot for 78 weeks. But that, to your point, that's a layer of sophistication enhancement to the product that, based on customer feedback, is about to be released. Let's call it in the next 30 days or so.
Change of pace.
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you pick a name for your company that sounds like a fatal disease?
That was kind of Steve. Here's the answer to the name, because we get asked that a lot. And by the way, we get a lot of appointments because of the uniqueness of the name. But the name of Toomah was born around this concept of too much. It's just too much time, too much stress, too many competitors. That whole concept around this too much pain. We then put a high emphasis in finding a domain name that was available and not registered by 600 people on GoDaddy.com. Toomah was available. It made sense. Kind of cool, fuzzy within the Google, etc. context. And that's as simple as that's as complex as it was in the naming convention.
Can you talk about your team a little bit specifically? You talked about the experience you have on your team for selling HR software and selling software to contact centers and staffing organizations.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So very directly, none of the 4 of us on this stage have had HR experience. None of us have sold HR applications or anything like that. I've sold everything from business forms to computers to enterprise software, etc. Jay's got the vast sales experience. So do we have domain expertise, if you will, in the HR space? No, we don't. We lean heavily on our advisory board and others for some of that expertise in terms of what this thing looks like. I will tell you, while I've never sold before, I'll run. You want to run with stuff. we've learned a lot. Jane and I have learned a lot in making 100 sales calls over the last 4 months about kind of what makes them tick, what's their opinion, how to sell the value prop, what's the important messaging, how do we align our software around some of that. So we may not have expertise in HR applications, but we're doing a good job of some of this stuff.
Describe what's difficult to replicate about the application.
Yeah, certainly. I think I'll take a stab at it, and then Mark, if you want to do. It's really the aggregation. You know, if you looked at each of these as individual components, cloud communications network, well, there are people that have that expertise. Web applications, there's a million people that write web applications. And database experts, people that create. It's the cobbling together of all of those solutions and laying the workflow engine around that we now understand within the HR space that kind of creates this IP secret sauce, if you will, for us. You know, we're not so naive to say, could somebody else replicate it? Perhaps. Show me technology that can't be replicated. For us, though, we think this is something that's pretty unique, and it's all about speed to market and execution at this point. Let's take what we've got, let's go sell the heck out of it in call centers and staffing organizations, and then let's start to layer, let's take that technology and sell it to all these complementary markets and things. I don't know if that goes for Rob or somebody else.
So, just back to the interview experience one more time.
Sure.
Is this tool just like a first cut, for someone who really just can't articulate? Because obviously you can't find out if someone can think on their feet, which is so critical in the contact center role. It's just sort of do they have sort of basic English kind of skills? Is that the core use of the application right now?
You know, it is. I would say for, let's call it 60% of the applications it is. I screen candidates, I take this labor pool from 100 down to 50, and I interview the top 5, yes. Although I will tell you that there's a segment of our market, this one call center customer that we've sold to is a work-at-home model, so they never see an individual. They've now created 10 questions that they ask every single candidate, and they're pretty tough questions. They are literally hiring candidates based on our tool and our tool alone. They never have a second interview, or almost never have a second interview, and they certainly never see those candidates face to face. So probably 60 to 70% of the time it's a screening tool, and 30 to 40% of the time some people are using it to hire instantly from that screening process.
Joe, thinking longer term about the analytics piece, and you brought up the textual input that might be in other markets, and that obviously could lead to a number of things. We do voice to text conversion on the analytics on how the hiring process is going. Is there a growth? Is there growth in the feedback loop and understanding how people are being interviewed and people are actually staying with the organization, how that feeds back and how they're hired?
Yeah, I believe, John, I think there's 2 parts to that question. The first is this analytics piece. We're having some really cool discussions with companies that do all this text-to-voice or straight-up voice analytics and how you use that to create efficiencies and whatnot. The company, this big call center client that we're talking to, because they've hired this big consultant to re-engineer this thing for them, there's 6 or 7 elements to a change process that they're going to implement. They want us to help them with some of that after-hire analytics around the people that use Toomah versus this other system. What's their retention rate? What's their performance once they hit performance, et cetera, et cetera. It's too early to give you data around, we perform this one better, this one worse. But that's part of what they view as the ultimate kind of solution that they're architecting.
I was actually thinking more about if everybody was using Toomah, they could find out what are the right questions to ask, what are the right answers to get, what are the right people to hire, what's the right process internally to get people who are not going to leave every year.
Yeah, I'll tell you that. We've got some coaching from another person that's a potential that he loves that concept. If you could create these community groups that says these are the exact kind of questions you should ask to this exact audience of people is most likely to create this kind of response. Now you've really got something because now you've created kind of a consulting engine, if you will, to create better interviews and things. Is that kind of it?
This will be the last question. You talked about one of your competitors does this for hiring using video. Is video relevant in your market? Has video become more prevalent? Do you have to go there, or is that something you think you can have?
It's a great question, Stephen. It's on our radar screen. I think Jane and Rob will tell you that the original applications they built had some intention of having video capabilities. It might be, for us, we're more interested in web applications and how to use the iPhone now to complete some of these interviews and do some other things. So I don't want to say definitely no, but probably not. There's other things that are more interesting to us right now versus some of those video applications.
Joe, thank you for your time.